What's good, everybody? Welcome to Bowler's Paradise. My name is Ben. I'm a USBC Silver Certified Coach, and today we are going to do a recap of my trip to Reno and discuss what worked, what didn't, and what I would do if I could do it all over again. Before we fire it up, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out and lets us know that you appreciate content like this. So you got it? All right, let's go. So last week I made the wonderful trip out to Reno to put my best yet mediocre effort out there to see how I could do at this year's Nationals. For context, my 27 game average was 197 going into this year. This is my 7th consecutive year, with my best year being in 2021 where I had 1788 for my all events. Simply put, I haven't really ever had any stellar performances, and I've certainly had more 500 series than I have 600. I brought the 6 balls I thought would work best specifically for my game, which I'll get into later, and I bowled one squad of the Bowler's Journal and the team practice session before our regular events. I do think that it's important and relevant to note that you should be extra intentional about finding deals in Reno. This place is significantly more expensive than the last time we were there in 2016, so make sure you get your USBC coupons early, and if you stay in the row of Circus Circus, Silver Legacy, or El Dorado, make sure you let everyone know you're a bowler when you order anything. There's probably a discount for it if you say it, but if you don't say it, they certainly won't ask you. Jumping to the bowling, we started out with the Bowler's Journal, which takes place upstairs on the low end of the stadium lanes. I crossed with my normal doubles partner and 2 other right-handed gentlemen who are awesome to bowl with. Both of them started with purple hammers up 5, which looked pretty darn good, with one of them shooting, I believe, 260 something. For me, I threw the DNA once and I almost clipped the 7-pin off clean, so I tried to play the track area with an IQ Tour and my Night Road, which just wasn't great. I 9-pinned a couple of times. I started off really slow with like a 153 or something like that. But as that didn't work, I made a big move inside to finish the first game, and I found a much better look. This is when you think to yourself, Ben, you preached urethane in all of your videos and how you'd never make the mistake of not bringing one ever again. Why didn't you just bump right where the purple worked? Well, I went against my own advice, but that was purely because in my practice before we left, I just threw them all terribly. My eye did not see what they were doing, and I had zero faith in my ability to adjust in the time that I had, so I decided to take the ones that looked best to me. So to go along with that DNA, Night Road, and IQ Tour, I had my mixed spare ball, an IQ Tour Ruby, and a 900 Global Eternity. Moving into game 2, I used that big move to my advantage and strung a few together with the Night Road and eventually the Eternity to scrap together a 210. There was a lot of friction, way more than in years past, so even though my angles were steep, I was able to get a good shape from left of third arrow pretty early. Then in game 3, the shape clicked with the Eternity and I popped a 247 with a 7-bagger to finish out with a 610. Not my worst effort, but definitely left something to be desired. They were definitely playable, but I started much too far outside when I just didn't have to. Moving to team practice, I'm pretty sure they just put out a house shot. It was so easy, I just stopped after 20 minutes. I knew the actual team event wouldn't be anywhere near that easy, so I didn't want to fool myself. IQ Tour and DNA were the best looks, but I didn't sell out on any one plan for that next day. Next day comes around with the team event. Practice goes normal for Nationals. Everyone starts to the right, a few throwing surface, a few not. No urethane or plastic was used as there was plenty of hold left and hook right. For myself, I started just left of second arrow with the Night Road after trying a couple different balls. For the first game, our entire companion team stays outside and struggles, while our team stays in the zone I pretty much started at and shoots 1030 with a 187 from myself. My struggle wasn't with ball reaction, rather just with execution. I was hesitant and I missed it left a few times, but once I found my feet and decided to really get my hand under the ball and hit it, I had a good amount of miss room. Second game, our entire companion team wisely jumps to third arrow. They didn't have a look where they were and they needed to strike, while most of our team stayed put. I crept a little bit left, but my look was good with the Night Road still, and I managed to string some together for a 257 and a team 1009. Our companion team shot 1130-ish that game, so to say they made the right move is an understatement. For the third game, it was just a fight for carry. I had to move further in as transition set in. I tried the Eternity in the fill of the second game and it didn't look too great, so I stuck with the Night Road game 3 and ground out a 210 for 654 and a team 975. Which leads me to the first thing I should have done different. I should have tried the IQ Tour Ruby in game 3. I needed a little less core to get the corners out as I moved in. but to shoot a 600 set with a Team 3014, I'll take that every year. Strategy-wise, I don't think you have to try that hard. It's a scoreable pattern to start. There's not a huge need to create ratio in the oil pattern, so play to your strengths. Don't be the guy that jumps to 4th arrow in game 1, but you also don't have to take your lumps at 1st arrow just so you can score in games 2 and 3. I'll get more into the bowling ball strategy later as it applies to actually all of the events. Doubles and singles the next day was a tale of 2 different series. For as easy as the Bowler's Journal was and the team event was, this pattern was freaking hard to start. If you missed left, see you later. If you missed right, see you later. If I hit my spot, which didn't happen much, especially in the first game, I would 9-pin. I tried the DNA, I tried the Night Road, I tried the IQ Tour, all in the first game, just begging and hunting for a look. I chopped 2, 3, 6, 10 spares and kicked my own ass straight to a 134. We did have one person on our pair throwing urethane, which added to the miss window outside of 7 for all of doubles as well. I kept hunting around, this time with better execution for games 2 and 3, but still never really found the look until the end of game 3. For the entire doubles event, I think most anyone's success is predicated on shot making. You have to be damn good, you have to hit it right, and you have to be able to repeat shots. All in all, I put together 187 and 193 for a 514 series, with my partner doing basically the same thing. But at the end of doubles, I tried the IQ Tour Ruby, and boy, she looked damn good. I think I had the back 5 for that 193, so going into singles, I was ready to use the shape that was given to me. I came out strong with a clean 238, all with the Ruby, where the key to success was to hit the hell out of it and keep it slow. It definitely was not what I expected, but when I did it, each hit was an absolute no-doubter. Game 2, I had to move in right away, so I switched to the Eternity as I wanted a little more core to make sure it got off the spot, and as long as my axis rotation was good, the shape was great, and I shot a clean 243. As that game neared its end though, the Eternity started to bog down in the mid lane, so I just changed back to the Ruby and stayed in the same spot going into game 3. But at this point, my heart rate's a little bit high, so I struggled to do that throw it slow thing and managed to pop a 184 with a couple splits for a 665 series and 1833 for my all events. I did stick with the Ruby the entire 3rd game, and my bad frames were mostly bad execution with the right ball. I tell you all of this to give you a couple pieces of advice. The first we already went over, in that the team pattern is simply not hard and should not be overthought. Just find the one that strikes and make your adjustments as you go along. The second is the Bowler's Journal is substantially different than Minors. Because of the fact that they only put the Minors pattern out for the Bowler's Journal lanes and they do both for the tournament lanes, the actual doubles event plays way flatter, so be ready to execute really good shots. For bowling balls, I think the 6 I brought were actually pretty close. I didn't bring or use much surface, but that worked because I don't have much tilt. I think a good 6 bowling ball arsenal has weaker covers overall with a variety of cores. The more tilt you have, the more asymmetry seems to work on both patterns, and getting the best shape on this hard stuff is imperative to your ball slowing down in the right spot. But I think you should do most of that with the core and not the cover of your bowling ball, which is pretty unique this year. For what I would have done different, it's hard to say. I liked my look for all of but the first 15 to 20 frames of doubles where I just didn't know what to do. I think for many, urethane is the right play until it's not. I think for higher ball speed players, a strong symmetrical solid with a bit of surface would look good also. But for me, the one wish I had at that moment was for the Black Venom or the Envy Tour. A strong cover but less core than the DNA, still asymmetric so you know it's going to go forward at the end of the pattern when you throw it correctly. So here we go, my final recommendations for the 6 balls I think you should bring. First off, bring your spare ball. Second, bring a high RG, strong symmetrical pearl. Thirdly, bring a slightly asymmetric solid. Fourth, bring a weak symmetrical pearl, preferably with a lower RG. And lastly, bring your favorite bowling ball. I think that if I can shoot 1833, most of you can as well. I trusted the bowling balls that looked best to my eye, and for the most part, it worked out. Just play to your strengths and play with your team, and you'll do just fine. All of the balls I mentioned and much more can be found today at bowlersparadise.com. Be sure to use the discount code YouTube at checkout for free shipping. If you haven't yet, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And as always, remember you guys, having the right arsenal at Nationals, now that's a bowler's paradise. Peace.